I guess what he contributes to the sound is his attitude, you know. A lot of personality. He's like really a big personality type of guy. And, you know, in a world that's dominated by a lot of, I don't want to say the word lames, I should say squares. It's a genuine cool about it, you know what I'm saying?
He's like the diehard spirit of like, at least like West Side and Southwest Atlanta. Like real brazen, you know, real in your face, real proud to be Atlantic. You know, at the time we came up, it was a lot of New York envy, and it was a lot of like Miami domination in this region. And there was a lot of Cali influence, you know, so for you to stand up and be very proud to be from Atlanta from day one, like it's just certain people that are like spirits and cultural like pillars for that. And PK is one of those people in Atlanta. So he's very valuable to the culture, valuable to what Atlanta music was 20 years ago when it was kind of starting to really find out sound.
From knowing the music that I grew up listening to that he had an influence on, you know, you can say that he's the dude where, you know, they always say that rappers, you know, not all of them, but a lot of them kind of be telling somebody else's story, somebody else's experience. You know, he could probably be one of those guys, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, the artists, they might run out of stories to tell or things to say. But, you know, from having a dude like him around, and like, well, he's shared this experience with me, let me make a song, you know what I'm saying, talking about that. Or, you know, let me convey the message, you know, this way, you know what I'm saying, since he's stood around and stood on the street, he's not, you know, just rapping in the studio 24/7. He's actually still out here seeing things and knowing what people are going through and what people are seeing. You know,
I think PK is very important to Atlanta music, not only because of his accomplishments and what he's done, but because of what he contributes nowadays. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you know him, you understand what I'm saying? Like I do, and you're an artist or whatever the case may be, like just, you know, the shit the nigga done been through, you know what I'm saying, and everything that he knows and all of the information he's able to give you, and, you know, he's able to guide new artists coming up or whatever the case may be. And he gives this information to a lot of the artists you know, some of your favorite artists or what have you. So I think that's what makes Ken, you know, very important to Atlanta hip hop to this day, and, you know, the culture of it.
One thing about PK, everybody know him. Either you got something good to say about him, you got something bad. But when it comes to the music scene, he was like very instrumental.
Man, you know, Pretty has played a very influential role. I mean, if anybody knows about the Attic Crew, they know the role that the Attic Crew played, and at the head of the Attic Crew and that whole movement was Pretty Ken. You know what I'm saying? It was PK, and I mean, dog, it ain't nobody walking around Atlanta that don't know PK in some form or fashion. Now, it might be some people who PK done shined on. He done went up in the studio session and said, hey, your music ain't better than this Attic Crew music. And you know, some people didn't like that, but I mean, that's what made PK who he is. And everybody respected that, and everybody knew him because of that. You know, he's one person I can definitely say can go in and out of so many different circles and he get respect. He was the head of his own circle.
As far as when Atlanta kind of came with that sound, coming from organized noise, coming from the dungeon, you know, he was right there in the mix of it. So, I mean, definitely, like I say, one of the founders of this Atlanta sound. I later learned after moving here that he played an integral role in some Atlanta movements, you know, and the part of Atlanta that got me here, you know, namely the Dungeon family, being involved in that movement. And then when I moved here, I was introduced to the Attic Crew. And like, this was music that became like the soundtrack to, you know, me working in my art. So I followed it heavily, and you know, once I met PK and started to learn some of his story behind, you know, just not just the music or being involved with the music, just his personal stories and whatnot. This is I think when I really started to learn who PK was and what he represented for Atlanta. But 4 letters definitely define, you know, what make me appreciate him as a person and as real. REAL, 4 letters.